I'm Mark,
I'm Eric.
and this is Forensics and Beer.
Cheers.
We're going to talk today about the forensics image. In digital forensics, we like to make what are called forensics images. What images are, it's a file-based representation of digital media.
We create forensic images of digital media because we don't want to make changes to the media itself as we investigate. It's very simple to create a 1-bit change, and that can alter the course of an entire investigation.
And to add to that, regardless of the type of media, whether talking about a hard drive, a flash drive, a phone, a tablet, something else, we want to do digital images because the more times you touch your original media, the more chances you have of making a mistake. So how do we create a forensics image? It's a 2-word answer. Eric, say it with me. 1, 2, 3. It depends. It depends because depending upon the type of digital media, whether it's a phone or a hard drive, or the operating system, or other considerations such as encryption, it can vastly change the methods of creating a digital image of media.
And where that system is can also make a huge change.
Yes.
Who has the rights to touch it, who does not. And that comes into play at all sorts of investigations that I've had to do. Sometimes it's the laptop's in a living room, but this is a 4-person apartment and they have a common area. Who gets to claim ownership and who can give you rights to image and whatnot. But you also go scale that up, you go to a corporation. If their server is the target of your investigation, are they even going to be willing to let you turn it off so you can make an image?
And for that matter, is a server in their office or is it in some data warehouse on the other side of the world?
Exactly. These are very important things to know before you go about your job, but it can make things more complicated.
So we also have different types of digital images. You've probably heard terms like physical image, logical image, so on and so forth, but there is some confusion about what all of these mean.
Several different companies have their own standards as they produce their tools. So what one company calls a logical image might be a file system image for another. One company may call it a records image. One may call it something different. And it's because there's no unified standards body that says this is what this type of image is. And they're each different ways of approaching how do you get as much information off of a piece of media as possible.
And so for that reason, we glorified experts on forensics and beer, experts we are.
Yes.
I decided to do the world a favor and create a standard terminology of different digital image types. And we're going to go through them from the most useful to the least useful. The most useful and generally gold standard image is called a physical image. A physical image, regardless of the media you are imaging, represents every bit and byte in file form of that storage. Example, got a nice little hard drive here. This is an 80 gig hard drive. If I were to create a physical image of this drive, I would get either one file or many files that add up to 80 gigabytes. That has every bit, every byte of data on this drive. There's a file allocated on the drive, it's here. If there's something in slack space you might care about, it's there.
From the first bit to the very last bit.
The next image we want to discuss is called a logical image. If you open up your Windows Explorer and see the C:/, that is a logical C drive. That is a logical construct, not a physical construct. A logical image is extracting just that C volume, but you can do it with getting all the unallocated, all the deleted.
There are allocation tables that say this byte to this byte is the volume. As long as what you're interested in occurs within those bytes, the logical volume imaging will get that. Anything outside of it, however, will be left behind.
Somewhere on this hard drive is a logical C drive. I don't know where it is though, so I think I'm gonna take this thing apart and we'll address results a little bit later.
I don't think you're going to find a C drive in there.
The next image we want to discuss is called file system image. And what that is, it is all the files extracted from said file system. You get nothing deleted, you get nothing unallocated, you just get the files. And that can be useful sometimes if encryption becomes a problem for you.
And it's also one of the ones where there's some of the most confusion, because what a file system image is to one company is not the same as a file system image to another company. So sometimes you get different results depending on which tool you use to make the image. Another reason we go back to the gold standard of physical images, because that's a complete copy.
The next image I want to discuss is called a backup. And a backup is very operating system dependent. A backup is using the operating system running on your digital media to create its version of a backup of data. Perfect example is Android, believe it or not, has a backup built into it. If you run an Android backup, you can actually get a lot of privileged app data. Depends on the app, of course. You can get all the files on user local storage. That would be where the user's photos, videos, downloads exist. But it is a limited backup. The nice thing about backups, at least in the Android world, is it is very easy to do. We're going to discuss at some point imaging mobile phones, including Android, and you do not need privileged access to make an Android backup. Anything higher up the list, you need privileged access.
And the same is true with iPhone for the most part as well. They make wonderful backups, be it in the cloud or on your local computer. And they store a surprisingly large amount of data.
And speaking of mobile, the last hit image we want to discuss really exists in the mobile and the embedded world, and that is what we're going to call a records-based image. It's not really a digital image at all. Instead, think a set of spreadsheets. One spreadsheet has all the phone's contacts, another spreadsheet has all the phone's call logs, so on and so forth. It's very common in the phone world because, especially before smartphones came around, it wasn't actually very useful to access phone storage because it was almost undecipherable. But if you could acquire all of the call history, that could be good enough. Fast forward to smartphones of today, it really is not good enough anymore, but sometimes that is what you have to live with. So those, again, to repeat our definition of digital images from most useful to least useful, is physical image, logical image, file system image, operating system backup, and records-based. All right, then I have another very important question for you, Eric. What are you drinking today?
Today I am drinking a Port City Metro Red. First time I had it, and I kind of like it.
That's excellent then.
Yeah.
I'm continuing my enjoyment of dark beers. This is a raspberry milk stout by Flying Dog, located in Frederick, Maryland. And this is excellent. You have the nice darkness of the stout, with a nice sweet aftertaste.
I'll have to try that at some point.
The big point of the digital image is to minimize our touches to our digital media, whether it's a hard drive like this, or a phone or tablet or anything else. The less time you spend, handling this, The less time you spend handling it, the less can go wrong. All right, we're getting pretty close to taking this hard drive apart here. And, ooh, that's what a hard drive looks like. Now, I need to give everybody a quick, well, I'll call it a CYA for Eric and me. Please don't take your hard drive apart like this. It's not going to work again. And please don't go to hard drive vendor and tell them a couple of beer drinking nerds told you to take your drives apart. They won't think it's as funny as I would. Wait a minute. I think I found something. I found the C volume.
Of course you did.
Enjoy a good one. Happy hacking. If you enjoyed this video or learned something, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel to be notified of future content. If you have any questions, sarcastic remarks, or beer recommendations, please leave a comment. The next video will be released whenever these beer-drinking fools decide to do something worthwhile with their time.